What's the craziest thing you've gotten away with? 1. My parents, my 2 sisters, and I once escaped across the Iron Curtain in the dead of night by taking a train we were not supposed to be on from Poland to West Germany. At the time, I had no idea what was happening. My parents had told us we were going on a trip to Yugoslavia. That was the story they gave to everyone, including us, our grandparents, friends, family, and co-workers. The next thing I knew, we were in a West German immigration camp. It was a wild journey for our family. We now live in Canada and love it here. 2. During college, we were required to complete a 1-year internship. Apparently, the summer before my internship was supposed to start, I should have received a letter in the mail with a list of available placements, but that letter never arrived. By the time the school year began, it was too late to secure an internship anywhere. Since it was my senior year, I did not have another chance to fulfill the requirement. So I just invented one. I claimed I interned for an online literary magazine, completely fabricated my evaluations, created my own tasks, and even gave a final presentation on my experience. As far as I know, no one ever questioned it. 3. I put a massive hole in the wall of my parents' garage. I screwed a pinboard over it, and no one ever questioned it. 4. My wife and I were on our honeymoon in Malaysia during Chinese New Year. We were in Genting Highlands, where a massive convention center was hosting an elaborate Chinese lunch buffet and stage show. People had paid for expensive tickets, but my wife and I decided to ask the bouncer if we could just take a quick look inside. He agreed and told us not to take too long. We walked in and were amazed by the extravagant decorations and endless food tables filled with every imaginable Asian dish. It was lunchtime, and we were hungry. When the food started being served, we blended in with the crowd and helped ourselves. I had some of the best authentic Chinese food of my life. After enjoying the experience, we nervously made our way toward the exit. Just as we were about to slip away, the bouncer called out, telling us to wait. My heart nearly stopped. Then he handed us 2 complimentary Chinese oranges, saying they were for all the guests. I thanked him, and we quickly disappeared. 5. During my junior year of high school, I never submitted an essay that was worth a large percentage of my English grade. When my teacher called me over while entering grades and asked about it, I played the part of a completely confused student. I insisted that I had turned it in and had no idea what she was talking about. Since I had always been an excellent student, she assumed it was her mistake. She even said she remembered reading it and ended up giving me a 95 out of 100 in the grading system. It must have been one incredible imaginary essay. 6. This might not be the craziest thing, but it is my favorite thing I got away with. While apartment hunting in LA, I found a cottage that seemed like a good fit. It was the right size, offered a lot of privacy, and was conveniently located for work. The only problem was that the landlady gave me the impression that she would be a nightmare to deal with, and I was not too thrilled about the location either. Since I was on a deadline and the rent was within my budget, I signed the lease and put down half of the deposit, with an agreement to pay the rest at move-in. By sheer luck, I came across a Craigslist ad for another place in a much better area that was perfect for me. Even though I knew it was risky, I went to see it and immediately fell in love. I had to figure out how to get out of my current lease without losing my deposit. Remembering some of the landlady's strict policies, I came up with a plan. I called and confirmed that I would be moving in on the 1st, then asked if she would give me an extra 5 days to pay the remainder of the deposit. I offered to hold off on moving in until I had paid in full, explaining that I was a little short on cash due to the holidays. She instantly became cold and refused to wait for the payment. She then said it would be best if I just picked up my deposit and canceled the lease. I did exactly that and moved into my dream place instead. What's a genius life hack you have that others are missing out on? 1. Rolling an orange before peeling makes it much easier. Just roll it between your hands or on a table, and the peel comes off with less effort. 2. When cleaning up sticky or messy spills that cannot be absorbed, use 2 stiff, flat objects like pieces of cardboard to scoop it up. It amazes me how often people try to clean things like egg yolks or spaghetti sauce with a mop or broom. 3. I have a keyboard shortcut on all my devices where typing 2 at symbols automatically fills in my full email address. 4. Shopping for Christmas gifts earlier in the year helps avoid long lines, stress, and all the holiday marketing hype. Also, buy wrapping paper, decorations, and lawn ornaments the morning after Halloween, Thanksgiving, or Christmas when stores drop prices to clear out inventory. This way, you stock up for next year at the lowest prices. 5. I am surprised by how many people do not store their sheet sets inside the matching pillowcase. It keeps everything together in one neat bundle. 6. I keep a dish cleaning wand filled with soap in my shower. It has a mix of dish soap and vinegar. Every other time I shower, I quickly scrub the walls and tub. It takes less than 2 minutes, and I rarely have to do a deep clean. About twice a year, I will use a stronger cleaner for peace of mind, but I barely notice a difference. 7. The 5-minute rule. If something takes less than 5 minutes, do it as soon as you think about it. Flip the laundry, respond to a quick email, load the dishwasher, or change that light bulb you keep putting off. 8. Sturdy trash bags are great for camping and outdoor activities. They can be used as a backpack liner, rain cover, poncho, sitting pad, water carrier, or even an extra shopping bag. They are versatile, lightweight, and surprisingly durable. 9. A high-yield savings account offers 4.5 to 5% interest just for keeping your money there. It costs nothing and helps your savings grow faster. 10. I use resealable plastic bags in my junk drawer. It is not perfectly organized, but grouping small items in separate bags makes searching easier. Instead of digging through a pile of random stuff, I just grab a bag and check inside. 11. Set do not disturb hours on your phone at night. You can allow calls and messages from important contacts like your spouse or kids. There is also an option to let calls through if someone rings twice within a minute in case of an emergency. 12. When handing someone their change, give them the coins first, then the bills. This way, they can hold the coins in their palm while using their fingers for the cash, making it much easier to handle. Which celebrities have a wildly different personality from their public persona? 1. A few years ago, I had the chance to grab drinks with a group of chefs, including Gordon Ramsay. While he's often portrayed as a fiery hothead, he was honestly one of the nicest guys you could meet. 2. Cher is known for her flashy outfits, bold personality, and stage presence, but in reality, she's a bit of a recluse. She prefers to unwind alone at home after a busy day. 3. I bumped into J.K. Simmons at a farmer's market in L.A. After seeing him in Whiplash, I couldn't imagine him being anything but intense, but it was a pleasant surprise to find out he's a genuinely nice guy. 4. Andy Samberg comes off as the total opposite of his comedic roles when he's in interviews. He is surprisingly professional. 5. Adam Sandler is a genuinely good guy who films a lot of his movies in New Hampshire to help boost tourism there. He's also incredibly loyal to his SNL pals, often bringing them into his films, and he's a great dad. 6. I don't personally know her, but Jennifer Coolidge's Architectural Digest article was an unexpected treat. I was anticipating a glamorous, Legally Blonde style vibe, but instead, she revealed that she lives in a haunted Victorian house, complete with dark, moody curtains and the occasional ghost. It was such a cool surprise. 7. Eric Andre. My venue hosted the filming of his latest Netflix special, and despite his outrageous comedy and wild persona, he was super professional, kind, and easygoing when it came to business. He was amazing at switching between character and real life. One memorable moment was when we were discussing the show details, and as soon as he grabbed the mic to soundcheck, he snapped into character and asked, "Who here likes bukkake?" I couldn't stop laughing, and he called me bukkake for the rest of the week. In between takes, he was incredibly friendly and easy to be around. 8. Angela from The Office is a total goofball when she's not on camera. 9. Johnny Knoxville was a lot quieter and more polite than I expected. He's also a genuinely great guy, according to others I know. He's nothing like his jackass persona. 10. Dean Martin wasn't exactly a total teetotaler, but he came pretty close. The whiskey he's seen drinking on camera was often just apple juice. 11. Matt Berry is loud and eccentric on screen, but in interviews, he's surprisingly quiet and serious, especially when talking about his music. During group cast interviews, he tends to sit back and let others handle the questions. 12. Lady Gaga is actually quite introverted and enjoys her solitude, which is a far cry from the bold, attention-grabbing persona she once had with the infamous meat dress. What's one job that absolutely wrecks your mental health more than any other? 1. I have a friend who works for CPS, and you wouldn't believe how many times she has fought to remove a child from a horribly abusive home. There is clear physical evidence of abuse, yet the case falls apart because the police won't assign a detective who is good with children. Without that, the child won't repeat accusations for official testimony. It has to be one of the most mentally exhausting jobs, right up there with first responders. 2. My wife works in homelessness prevention, and she is completely burned out. I don't know how to help, but every day she deals with overwhelming secondhand trauma on top of having to tell people they don't qualify for assistance because of program restrictions. 3. Maybe not as intense as some others, but after a decade, I have seen enough. I have had students murdered. One was killed over $12 worth of weed, and another one of my students was the shooter. I have reported parents to DCS because students came to school beaten or starving. I once paid for a pregnant student's lunch because she could not afford to eat. I have seen brutal fights that led to hospitalization, and I have been hospitalized myself from breaking them up. You watch brilliant students fall into addiction and overdose. You see kids with promising futures get pregnant and refuse to go to college because they believe the baby's father will support them, only for him to disappear as soon as the child is born. You see students slip through the cracks of the system and never come back. I have also reported 2 predatory teachers. One was let go due to lack of evidence, and the other is now in prison. During my first year, some fellow teachers and I started a club with lock-ins at school so kids had a safe place to get food, shower, and escape from home. I have never played more Monopoly or eaten more Papa John's in my life, and I honestly did not enjoy doing it. But at graduation, one of my students who never missed a single club night thanked me because it was the only night her mom's boyfriend could not get to her. I still cry about that. I am crying now. There were incredible highs too. I have students who were once told they would never graduate, and now they are doctors. I have helped kids who could not read as freshmen graduate with full scholarships to college. That feeling is indescribable. But in the end, the lows are just too low. I left my first school 6 years ago after an incident that was not technically a school shooting, but it came terrifyingly close. A student had a list of targets, but he turned a corner and ran straight into our school officer. Out of fear, he took his own life instead of carrying out his plan. I should have left then, but I thought things would get better. I thought I could handle it all. I can't. I am exhausted. 4. The FBI agents who sift through evidence in child abuse cases. They spend weeks freeze-framing children's faces in abuse videos, comparing them to databases, and identifying victims from missing persons reports. They piece together timelines for prosecutors, combing through the footage again and again to analyze audio, background noises, names, locations, and any detail that might link perpetrators to their crimes. 5. My job does not deserve a spot in the top 10, but I worked at a payday loan place for a few months. If that didn't feel like legally working for the devil, I don't know what does. 6. My dad is an oncologist. He handles it well, but that has to be one of the hardest jobs out there. Every time he meets a new patient, it is during one of the worst, if not the worst, moments of their lives. It is up to him to tell them and their families if the toxic treatment he has been administering is working or if they should get their affairs in order. On top of that, he constantly hears how cancer is tearing apart marriages. So many people walk away from their partner of 30 years instead of supporting them through it. And that is before even factoring in the financial devastation. 7. First responders will almost certainly witness a person die right in front of them at some point. 8. Just look at the professions with the highest suicide rates. Doctors are near the top, which is ironic considering it is one of the most sought-after careers in the world.